Hello friends, the government has recently introduced Indian Institute of Management Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha. So we'll understand what are the features of this bill and what was the need of introducing this bill. If you want to download this slide, the link is in the description box. And if you want to listen to this video in Hindi, then you can go to our another channel, that is prepezee. The link is available in the description box again. So the context of this bill is basically the bill has been brought in to amend the Indian Institutes of Management Act 27. Now the experts have said that this bill has the potential to erode the autonomy of the IIMs. So it basically introduces some provisions to change the procedures of appointment and other things in the IIMs. Now obviously some experts have been against this bill, but then we have also found some support for this bill also. So we will be discussing these things, both of these things here. But first let us understand what are the features of this bill. So the objective of this amendment is basically, the Indian Institutes of Management Act 2017, it was passed to declare the 20 existing IIMs as the institutes of national importance. Apart from that, this act also said the aim was to actually give them the necessary conditions or facilitate the IIMs to achieve global excellence in management as well as management research and the other allied areas. However, as it was seen that there were certain issues which started to exist between the government and the management of IIMs. So therefore, now through this bill, the government seeks to change the appointment of director and other appointments. Now the government is trying to give itself the expanded role in appointment of the IIM directors, the board of governors, the inquiries, the audits and other such things. So let us analyze that what changes are proposed in the bill. So the features of the bill are, firstly, it creates a post of visitor. The visitor will be there in every IIM and the president will be the ex officio person who will be the visitor of the IIMs. The primary roles of the visitor, that is the president, will be to make appointments, any kind of appointments to the IIMs, to audit the working of IIMs and to conduct an inquiry whenever that is required. Apart from that, there are other roles also, for example, the removal of director and other things. So let us see what are those roles. See, till now, as of now, if we look at the 2017 Act, the director is appointed by the board of governors. See, the director, what is basically a director? If in very crude form, I would like to explain it as the principal of the school. So everything which is happening in the school, the principal looks at that. Similarly, here director is there. The director is looking at the working, he's trying to provide the leadership to the other faculty members and the other members of the institution. He's kind of chief executive officer. In fact, the CEO, he's also responsible. The CEO, the main function of CEO is to see to it that whatever decisions are taken by the board or whatever policies are formed by the board, they are implemented in that company or the institution. So here also the director is the CEO and the director implements whatever decisions or policies are made by the board of governors. However, the present bill, if it is passed, it will change the appointment process. I just told you 2017 Act, board appoints the director. However, now the bill says that the board, even now also the board will be appointing it, the director. But now the prior approval of visitor has to be taken. And who is the visitor? Visitor is the president. So visitor has to give prior approval for the appointment of the director of any institutes. In fact, even the procedure for such appointment, see, till now what was happening? A search cum selection committee was constituted on the recommendations of which the board used to appoint a director. But now the procedure of appointment and the selection of the director, it will be prescribed by the central government itself. So now you can see that through the visitor, you can understand that president is nothing more than the Council of Ministers. The president is just a rubber stamp. So the visitor basically means the Council of Ministers of the present government. So now the appointment has to be done by the prior approval of the government, and the procedure is also prescribed by the central government how it is to be done. The search committee, see, till now there was a search committee which was comprising of 4 members in 2017 Act. Till now the bill has not been passed yet, so till now 4 members are there in the search committee. These are, one is chairperson, and then there are other 3 members who come from the eminent persons in the society, like eminent administrators, eminent industrialists, eminent educationalists, eminent technocrats, and so on. Now the bill which has been introduced now, it says that now this number 3 will be reduced to 2. So there will be 3 members including 1 chair and 2 members. But then the bill also introduces one another member who will be nominated by the visitor, that is the president. So that means that the central government will be nominating 1 member on the search committee. So till now there were 4 members, 1 chair plus 3 other members. Now there will be again 4 members, 1 chair, 2 eminent persons, and 1 person nominated by the visitor. Now if we come to the removal of director, till now the Act 2017 Act provides that the board can remove the director on certain given grounds. What are the grounds? Like insolvency is there, mental and physical incapacity is there, conflict of interest is there. On the basis of, on these grounds only, the board could remove the director. Now this is changing again. Now whenever a director has to be removed on this ground, first prior approval is required from the visitor. So if board wants to remove the director, it has to acquire prior approval from the visitor. But also the visitor has the power to remove the director. So in both cases, either the board removes the director or visitor himself removes the director. In both the cases, either approval is given or visitor himself does it. So the power lies with the visitor or the president or the central government itself. So in both the cases, either board does or visitor himself does. It is actually the government which gives the sanction or which removes this director. If we look at the chairperson of the BOG, that is, what is BOG? BOG is the Board of Governors. So how is the chairperson? Till now, the chairperson of Board of Governors is appointed by the Board of Governors themselves. So the Board of Governors, they assemble and they say that this person will be our chairperson. Now, in this bill, in the bill which is being introduced, the chairperson will also be nominated by the visitor, that is the central government. Now the next point is inquiries. So if, just as I told you, that if there is any problem or any issues in the functioning of the IIMs, if they are not functioning in accordance with the act which gives them the power, then an inquiry can be instituted. Till now, in 2017 Act, this was done by the board and the inquiry is conducted by a High Court judge. Now this thing is changing. No more. Neither the board can do it, neither the High Court judge. Now in the bill, only the visitor has the power to initiate an inquiry. So the visitor can himself or herself initiate this inquiry, or even the board can recommend an inquiry to the visitor, but in any case it will be the visitor who initiates this inquiry. Also, the visitor will be appointing any person which the visitor deems fit to conduct this inquiry, and whatever report this person gives, this report will be given to the visitor, and whatever the directions are issued by the visitor to the institute, they are binding. See, the person gives a report that this is wrong, and the visitor then issues directions to correct it. These directions which visitor issues, they are binding on the institute. The institute cannot say that no, we will not be recommending this, we will not be implementing these recommendations, because they are binding. So institute has to implement whatever recommendations are or whatever directions are given by the visitor, not the recommendations, because recommendations, they are by definition, they are not binding. But here we are giving directions which are binding. Then if you want to dissolve the board, let's say the board needs to be dissolved, in that case the central government will have the power to dissolve or suspend the board. If such act is done, that is the Board of Governors is dissolved, then an interim board will be constituted by the government, which will be functioning for either 6 months or till the time new board is constituted. Then there is also a coordination forum. It also exists now also. The coordination forum, basically its function is to see to it that whatever best practices are seen in one IIM, for example, any single IIM, it does something. For example, let's assume that it is sending a batch of 10 persons to England. Let's say it sends 10 persons to UK to learn something from their institutions or whatever. So if it founds that yes, this activity, this is suitable, and the persons who went there, the students who went there, they benefited out of this activity, then they propose that this activity should be taken up in all IIMs. This is the best practice. This coordination forum, it facilitates that the chairpersons, they have access to each other's best practices and they are able to implement it. Now, till now, the coordination forum, its chairperson was selected by a search cum selection committee. But now no more. Now the chairperson will be nominated by the visitor. Also, all the chairpersons, whatever chairpersons are there in all the IIMs, they will be ex officio members of this coordination forum. Till now, it was by rotation policy that 4 IIM chairs will be member for 2 years and then next 4 IIMs like that. But now all chairpersons will be ex officio members. Then last major point is incorporation of institutes. See, for example, this bill, it says that NITI Mumbai will now be called as IIM Mumbai. So any such institution which is performing good and has the potential can be converted into IIM and Institute of National Importance. So now these IIMs, any institute which is now converted into IIM, it is said that the employees, the tenure, the service conditions of all the employees, they remain the same. Now this bill says that for director this provision will not apply. That for director the service conditions will not remain same. They will not be retaining the same tenure, salary or pensions. The director won't be. Other employees will do so. So these are the major features. Now let us see that why this happened. What was the problems which were found which led the government to take this step? See, it was recently reported in many media articles that the government and the IIMs, they were not actually on the same page on many issues. For example, IIM Rohtak, the board appointed Dheeraj Sharma as the director of the IIM Rohtak. Now, in the first term, when that appointment was sent to the government cleared it. Yes, this person is suitable. But when second term again it was being given to the same person, Dheeraj Sharma, then the government found out that the academic credentials of this person, they were not adequate for being appointed as the director of the institute. So they asked the board to not appoint him. However, the board appointed the same person despite the objections from the government. So government did not like it, that we are saying don't appoint him and you are still going ahead with the appointment. So what is the value of our advice? Similarly, even in the case of IIM Ahmedabad also, there was one IAPS officer whose name was Rajneesh Rai. At that time, he was being suspended from being an IPS. So the IIM Ahmedabad, it appointed him as the assistant professor in the institute. However, the government questioned this appointment. The Ministry of Education, or at that time Ministry of Human Resource Development, it questioned that appointment. It said that no, you cannot appoint a person who is suspended from government service as an assistant professor. But then the institute, it said that no, we are autonomous, we have enough autonomy to appoint whoever we want as our assistant professor. We found him suitable and he has certain experience which he could share with the students, and therefore we appointed this person as our assistant professor. So they defended this appointment. So these issues had come up. In fact, there was a turbulence in IIM system apart from this IIM Rohtak and as well as IIM Ahmedabad issues. In Ahmedabad, there was another issue. In fact, you must have heard it in the media reports also. The director of the institute, he said that I want to change the logo of this institute and I want to demolish certain buildings which have been designed by Louis Kahn. He wanted to demolish certain structures which were designed by Louis Kahn. But the alumni as well as the faculty, they came up in revolt. They had risen in revolt against the decision. They said, no, we identify with the logo, we won't let you, and we won't let you demolish these structures. They are what identify the IIM Ahmedabad, and therefore we can't let you demolish this. Similarly, in IIM Calcutta also, the faculty members as well as the students, they rose in revolt against they in fact signed a petition against the director, that the director is working in his own way, and in fact she was a lady, and director is not working in accordance of the best interest of the institute. She is being autocratic and she is being not democratic in the functioning. So in fact the board of governors, it curtailed the powers of the director, and ultimately the director resigned. So therefore there was certain issue which was going on in this also. Then again, see, the fees of the IIMs, it is so high that experts have questioned such high fees. In fact, see, it is true that this fees is generally not a problem, because if any student is getting selected to IIM Ahmedabad, then banks are running behind that person, that student, because they want to give him education loan, because they know that this person has the capability and will be able to pay back the loan without any difficulties. Despite that, the experts have questioned that there is no such cost involved in giving this teaching. So why are you having this teaching now? In fact, why are you having such a high cost of fees in your institute? So these issues are there. Some the lower IIMs, lower ranked IIMs, the faculty members and the media, they have said that the directors are doing whatever they want to do. They are holding unchallenged power. Their sway is such large that they have become tyrannies in their own way. So these issues are there. So IIMs are facing certain governance deficit in their working. In fact, there was the laxity in the implementations of the act provisions also. In fact, see, the author, there is an article in the Hindu, in that the author says that the IIMs, they are not taking actions as per the provisions of the IIM Act 2017. He says that the Act has a provision that every 3 years, the IIM director has to appoint a commission. This commission will review the working of IIMs and will be providing a report which will then be placed in the public domain. However, the author says that out of the 20 IIMs, only a very few have done this review. And in fact, in the top 4 IIMs, that is Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Bangalore, ABC, the only Bangalore report is available on the website. So if you are not following the provisions of the Act itself, then how are we to determine that you are actually having good governance in the institution? Therefore, the government needs to step in. These are government institutions. There is a need for accountability, democratic accountability to the nation itself. You cannot let anything function without meaningful checks and balances. In fact, the author also says that even in the board of governors, the industrialists or the eminent industrialists or technocrats or administrators, they are not having any incentive that the working of institution improves. They go there, they take their fees, whatever is due, they sit for tea and whatever. They have no real incentive. There are some certain exceptions, of course. Some people are worried about the functioning and the improvement in functioning, but this is not true for every one of the persons who are appointed on the board. And therefore, we need persons who are actually involved, who are connected to the improvement. So these are the major features, these are the major points why the bill was introduced and what are the major features of the bill. If you like this article, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.